Hello everyone, welcome to Palling with Peacemaker, or of course welcome back to Palling with Peacemaker for Season 2. It's very exciting, isn't it? Well, I put off watching this season of Peacemaker when it did a few months ago, earlier in, I think it was in the summer, wasn't it? And kind of early autumn that it did air, but you know, I knew we were going to be back here with Palling with Peacemaker on It's a Wonderful Podcast. We just had to get there, didn't we? We just had to finish a few things and settle a few series beforehand, before returning to this show for a couple of months. Obviously, there's only 8 episodes in a season of Peacemaker. Never mind the fact it took us about 3 years to do the previous
actually do the first season.
We ignore that. We deal with our television-based content in a different way these days. On It's Wonderful Podcast.
A much more scheduled,
much more scheduled, far better, makes sense way. Which ultimately kind of only gives us 4 total episodes of Palling with Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So alternating every Monday, of course, here on the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel and the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed. If you are just listening to today's episode, do subscribe wherever you are listening or, of course, watching, and ding your notification bells, share it around, all that fun stuff. Because for the next couple of months, you will be getting this show alternating with Discovering Dawson's Creek on, as well as, of course, Morgan hasn't seen, and It's a Wonderful Podcast, the main show, as standard. But it is exciting. I'd quite forgot how just out there Peacemaker was as a show, to be honest with you.
I'm sure this first episode threw you right back into it.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it did. Everything you could possibly want right up in your face, wasn't it, really?
Right up in your face, for sure.
Literally right up in your face. I mean, my goodness, I've not seen anything like that since last Saturday night. No, I'm not going to be silly. I've not seen anything. I've not seen anything like that in a movie, I don't think, or a show. Since
Ever?
When? I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
Seeing something like that in such a movie or a show like this, a piece of media like this, shall we say. Absolutely wild, but typically Peacemaker, I suppose, and we have to acknowledge that this is where a certain area of the DC universe, the James Gunn-headed DC universe, is obviously at the moment, because that's even all changed since season 1, since we were back there doing season 1. We ended that season with a visit from the old version of the Justice League.
And they had to retcon that within the recap. So
they did. Wild thing to do. They do show up actually in the episode proper, don't they? Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner, who were both, in Superman.
Yeah.
They end up showing up in this first episode of Peacemaker to make fun of Peacemaker. It's always quite funny, but also sad, because it's one of those situations with the character of Peacemaker where the show and the group of characters, your cast of main characters, it is a very funny show. They do have a lot of, kind of barbs with each other and really, really kind of make fun of each other. But it's also heavily emotional.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the most wildly well-balanced shows out there.
Yeah, and you're going to see that a lot this season. It does get pretty dark. It does get pretty emotional. It digs deep into some really interesting topical issues. So just be prepared.
Yeah. So I don't think we obviously need to do a big whole recap of season 1 of Peacemaker. I think if you're here watching us, listening to us now, you have either already watched season 2 of Peacemaker or have been justifiably waiting for Palling with Peacemaker to watch it alongside us, which
Yeah.
would be very nice.
Yes.
But I don't think we need to do any of that, because if you did want to hear what we think about season 1, obviously, we have all that there. It is only on the YouTube channel, I must admit. So, if you
Yes.
are a podcast feed only listener, do go on over to It's Wonderful Podcast on YouTube, and you will be able to find Palling with Peacemaker, all of season 1 episodes there for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
But it is nice to be back. I had been kind of looking forward to being back, because I'm so out of it when it comes to your superhero based movies and shows these days, that I
Yeah.
feel like this is the one I'm still in
Kind of
there a little bit.
invested. Yeah, because I mean, with Marvel, it feels a bit daunting, because you
Very.
might wanna do a
We did at the
rewatch to kind of.
beginning, but
Yeah, and, like, you might wanna do a rewatch to see kind of what happened, but there's so much now with shows and all these other things to have to kind of keep track of to kind of move on to the next thing. But with this is a kind of a fresh start, so
I mean, it's a
if you're
fresh
watching.
start within a fresh start. Peacemaker felt like a fresh start anyway, because Peacemaker came from James Gunn's The
Yeah,
Suicide Squad, which felt like
yeah.
a fresh start anyway.
Exactly.
So it's a
So
fresh
now
start on a fresh start on
within
a
a
fresh
yeah,
start.
exactly, and I think you enjoyed Superman, so, um,
Oh yeah,
yeah, so kind of going into that and knowing the connections there, it feels like, "Okay, I'm building on something." It's not this whole kind of, lineage of things that I have to kind of keep
yeah,
track of. I can kinda
yeah,
start fresh with this, so I think this is probably, um, the easiest kind of superhero content for you to digest right now, because I know you've kind of lost a little bit
absolutely.
of kind of not interest, but just kinda, like, desire to really kind of focus too much on the MCU considering it's kinda messy right now. But,
Well, no, absolutely, and I think, I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I don't wish
no.
ill on Marvel or the people doing still great, seemingly, great things at Marvel. Maybe it's not as consistent as it once
Well,
was,
yeah.
but there's certainly still highlights coming out of it, surely,
Mhm.
and that's what people tell me. That's what the consensus is.
Yeah.
But we're kind of doing what comic books themselves do,
Yeah, just kind
right?
of
With
re
this, they're
re
just full
refresh a
refresh.
story of a story
Like,
of a
we
character,
we don't just keep going on and on and on with the same continuity
Yeah.
for so long.
Mhm. Yeah.
We just go, "Oh, new writers involved. Okay, everybody understands the character. Just strip it all back and start again then."
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what we're doing with Guns DC, isn't
Yeah.
it? So
Mhm.
I'm into that. I'm into
Yeah.
that, and I like it, and I like that it wants to take risks, because even with obviously Superman being what
Yeah.
Superman did, I think it did stuff really really well. I don't
Yeah.
think it could have been a better new Superman movie, to be
Yes,
honest.
and it had a beautiful message as well, so,
It
yeah.
did.
Mhm.
It did, but it also took its own risks. You
Mhm.
know, it did have. It wasn't just Superman. Superman. It did have those other characters in there that were
Yeah.
doing things that
Mhm.
made the world feel a little bit more whole,
Mhm.
and bringing them obviously now into Peacemaker. Not that Corin Sweat himself shows up or anything like that. We're not
No.
quite at that level
No.
yet, I don't think, but we might get there.
Yeah, we left
Um,
the silhouetted Superman in that final shot,
we
but we
did,
didn't.
so obviously,
Yeah,
yes, that,
but
yeah.
it was
You,
meant to be a
we never
different
we never
Superman.
saw the last one either, did we? God,
Yeah,
no,
no,
we wouldn't have been
no, that
doing
poor
that.
man, that poor man.
Don't we just feel sorry for everything that's went on there?
Yes,
I think we really do.
yes.
Um, But let's start. Let's get into this first episode. Then, Jeannine, it is called the
The
ties that
ties that
grind.
grind. Yes. So I do have a little synopsis here. Peacemaker interviews for a spot on the Justice Gang, while Harcourt struggles to find work on the heels of Adebayo's bombshell press conference. Economos is forced to surveil Peacemaker under Rick Flag Sr.'s new management.
Yes, Rick Flag Senior. I always forget
Yeah.
Frank Grillo's like 65 because why does he still look 40?
Yeah, I mean, the age doesn't quite line up, but like you could kind of suspend disbelief, I guess, enough because he does appear in Creature
Because he
Commandos.
looks the same age as Joel Kinnaman. That's why.
Yeah, I think he's only maybe like 13 years, like 12 to 13 years older than him, something like that. It's
Okay.
not. But he appeared in Creature Commandos, and the whole thing with Creature
Oh, I
Commandos is
see.
if you voice a character in an animated show in this universe, you'll go on to play the live action version.
I see. I see.
Um, and I don't know, for whatever reason, they said that they couldn't change his hair because in Creature Commandos, his animated version has like all like gray, white hair.
Yeah.
Um, and he does state, I think, in Creature Commandos that he had Rick Flag Jr. really young, like when he was 18 or something like that.
Okay.
So you could, if seeing him with gray hair, you could kind of suspend disbelief that he had him fairly young.
Look, it doesn't bother me. I think it's
No,
an
no,
interesting
no.
thing.
But the thing with Peacemaker, the show now, like I guess he had another project he was doing, so he couldn't change his hair. So
Yeah.
there was a plan for him to make his hair be more gray or whatever, but to make him like look older. But yeah, you don't really care all that much. You just kind of go with it. But they did take little steps here and there to kind of make the continuity feel like, okay, that could kind of make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that concept that like if you're gonna voice an animated, we're gonna see you as live action. So this is the
But
first time we're seeing that kind of translate.
I mean, definitely. Maybe it's interesting. I can't say how great it may be because I do think, Mark Hamill would have made an absolutely appalling live action Joker, but was a
Yes.
great
So
vocal one, obviously the
yes,
best.
yes, but this one they're casting kind of knowing that ahead of time. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how that plays. And even in Creature Commandos, we saw Viola Davis voice Amanda Waller in there, and Akadamos, he was
Yeah.
in animated form in Creature Commandos as well. So
Okay. Fair
yeah.
enough. Okay. Well, there's no more Amanda Waller. There's no more Amanda Waller going on in this
In Peacemaker. Yeah, because her daughter kind of blew up her spot.
She's away. She's gone into hiding, shall we say, probably,
Yeah,
or she's
yes.
keeping a low profile.
Yeah, so she'll probably
but
pop up somewhere. She's doing
no doubt.
Yeah, so I mean, Creature Commando sets up kind of what she's doing now a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, so she's
Okay.
around.
But obviously, our surveillance villain is now transformed into Rick Flag Senior.
Yes, an Argus. That
Frank
whole,
Grillo.
Yeah.
Yes,
And,
who obviously after Peacemaker, trying to search in on Peacemaker, we get him actually finding out about Peacemaker's involvement in Rick Flag Jr.'s death, obviously in the Suicide Squad. In the second episode, we get that kind of revealed to him.
Yeah. And it's framed as a bit of like more of a vendetta than an actual like he's trying to do something significant. It doesn't feel
it's personal.
It feels he's not hiding it too well.
No. It's not that Peacemaker that Chris is obviously actively doing anything wrong. Like, he's really not at this point. He's just living his life as best as he can, having saved the world, as people keep telling him, having done really well, obviously, at the end of season 1. But people are still going to have grudges against this style of quote-unquote superhero. He is obviously still a particularly violent style of superhero. A particularly controversial style of superhero, which is why he doesn't do very well in getting into the Justice Gang, and they have that ridiculous sort of panel of Sean Gunn and Green Lantern and Hawkgirl.
He's the new Maxwell Lord. He was the character that
Pedro
Pascal played.
played.
Yes, so he's like this, eccentric, like billionaire, whatever, who is funding the Justice Gang. So
do we not think that could have been continued? No, it couldn't have been continued casting. God no, Pedro Pascal was not allowed to go into DC these days, is he?
Oh, no. Well,
as
now he's Mr.
now he's
Fantastic.
Reed Richards.
Yes, and that took I think he was in the '80s in that version of Wonder Woman, so,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
the
right. Yeah,
timelines wouldn't have lined up, but,
that's right.
yeah, so what do we feel about this whole kind of interview scene, the broken mic, like, we hear them
It's
basically
funny.
bashing him,
It's
making fun
funny.
of him, but we also see Peacemaker, like Chris, like, being vulnerable and really kind of facing, you know, the work he did prior and him trying to learn from that and that stemming from the trauma he has from his father and his brother, and he starts to kind of going into that while they're just basically making fun of him and mocking him the whole
Yeah,
time.
without them thinking he can hear them
Yes.
either, which
Yeah.
he mistakenly kind of can hear them.
Yeah.
But I obviously understand it. We spent a hell of a lot of time in season 1 dealing with Peacemaker's traumatic childhood and
Yes.
traumatic feelings towards his father. He obviously ended up murdering his own father in season 1. But I mean, even that comes back in a odd sort of way, doesn't it? You know, Robert
Yeah.
Patrick is still a cast member
Mhm.
in season 2 of Peacemaker because
Yes.
there's alternate dimension things going on as well that we're not
Y
quite fully understanding of quite yet. But
yeah, well,
but
because it's kind of
it's
like
clearly
that.
going on.
Yeah, it's that same kinda interdimensional room that his father kept all his helmets in.
Yeah,
And so when he doesn't feel like taking Eagly outside because it's snowing and cold to let him fly, he just lets him fly around that interdimensional space.
yeah,
And as Eagly kind of disappears in there, he goes looking for him and finds a door and a panel that looks just like his door and panel. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he goes in there and he finds a whole nother life of a different version of himself where his
yeah.
father's still alive and his father's nice to him. They look kind of like
Very nice to him. His
they're
brother's still alive, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we learn at the end of this episode that yeah, Keith is still alive and they seem very, caring and loving, which is just he's just can't even fathom that
no,
because his father was so hateful. So there's some really beautiful moments with him and his dad that he just can't even kind of
he's never
take
had.
in. Yeah. So
Yeah,
the really sweet moment when he walks by him and he tells him goodnight and he just like says he loves him and he kind of tugs on his ear. Like
yeah,
that little endearing moment and also just great performance from Robert Patrick to kind of just be this complete switch up from what we saw last season.
well, I
Uh
think this is what he's done very well, Robert Patrick, is because
mhm.
to play somebody as actively horrible as what is he called, the Red Dragon
Yeah.
or something,
The white dragon.
white or the White Dragon,
Yeah, yeah.
which would make more sense given that he's a racist villain. Actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Make more sense. Um, it takes something. It takes somebody particularly good to play that and not just make it absolutely ridiculously absurd. Like he really grounds that sort of
Mhm.
purely despicable,
Yeah,
racist person, that kind of attitude, really, really convincingly.
yeah.
And that's not obviously Robert Patrick isn't a I don't think he could do that if he was this thing,
Yeah,
there's not, we
yeah.
must differentiate there.
From
But
yeah.
you are right. He's also clearly great at being. I don't think I've ever seen Robert Patrick play soft before, which
No.
is quite interesting. But clearly he can
Mhm.
do that as
Good
well.
at
So that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to get further into this other dimension sort of
Y
aspect of it. Um,
yeah.
but going
Because
back
by
to that panel thing,
yeah.
just briefly. While I think it's very funny and all that, and there's a tragic element to it, of course, because he
Mhm.
ends up, blowing his soul out there, and Max Lord and Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl end up
I'm
having
just
any of
totally
it at
making fun
all.
of him and to the point where he just, yeah, storms out of there.
Yeah.
And then they come to the
Um.
realization that, "Oh, did he hear all of that?" Yeah, he
Yes.
did.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah.
But should we really? Should the question we're asking ourselves really be, why is he going for that in the first place? Does he belong in the Justice Gang, okay, as it's referred to?
Yeah.
No, fundamentally, I don't think. I don't think a hero like Peacemaker belongs in something like that. Because if you put it onto Marvel, it would be like putting the Punisher into the Avengers. It doesn't quite gel.
Yeah, but I think he's just in the mindset of like, I saved the world now, so maybe I can be more legitimate. And it's him kind of trying to change from who he was to like this other version now that he's kind of made this friend group and he's been able
I
to
mean, I
kind of
get that.
dig deep into these emotional things. And all of them kind of, we open this episode with all of them kind of in this weird flux after having done this big thing. But
There's
you know,
no,
with
I'm
that,
just going to say, there's no illegitimacy in being a street level villain, street level hero.
yeah, like a vigilante,
Like
vigilante.
like a vigilante. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
illegitimacy in doing that. To envision Superman fighting alongside Peacemaker, I just think is a bit silly. And
Yeah,
Peacemaker
yeah.
clearly wants that. So I'm not altogether certain whether it was a good idea for him to want that or not.
Yeah, yeah, and like all of them are kind of just lost, I think, right now. So we
Yeah.
see Peacemaker trying to get this panel. We see Adrian still working, you know, at that restaurant and being
Yeah.
ridiculous. We see Adebayo, she's now trying to start her own like investigative firm or whatever. And she's having issues with her wife because her wife wants to go back to Gotham and open up a pet store. And she wants to, now that she's kind of seen that she's good at this whole thing from the first season and all the things she accomplished with this group of people, that's
Yeah.
kind of what she wants to lean into. So we
You know what's
ended
going to
with,
happen if you open a pet store in Gotham, though, don't you? There's only one thing that's going to happen there: is all your animals are going to get mysteriously kidnapped by by whatever
villain is
decides to kidnap them
popular that
week,
week. Exactly.
and turned into either Joker rabbits or green hat wearing rabbits.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
rabbit penguins or other such things.
Exactly. Like, why do you want to go back to Gotham? The place is a shithole.
Move away from Gotham. Get out of
Exactly.
Gotham.
Yes. But yeah, they realize, you know, they're kind of on different paths because we saw them like have this happy reunion at the end of season 1. But
Yeah.
there now is this kind of divide of them wanting different things than what they kind of discussed. So Kia is not really happy with her kind of changing the plan on them in the last minute. So they're kind of broken. She's living in some crappy motel and trying to kind of start this service for herself. We see Harcourt. She is, you know, her meeting is kind of crazy as well because we don't see her at first. We see this therapist like talking to somebody and saying they have toxic masculinity, listing all of these things, and then we turn the camera and it's Harcourt. She's like,
he's not wrong.
What the hell? And so she is not cleared to work for any kind of government agency because of how volatile they think she is. Yes. And she is like, you know, Waller may be kind of in hiding right now, but she still has the power to blackball me from any kind of, you know, government organization. So she feels like, yeah, it's probably Waller messing with her. So she's pissed.
It probably is. Again, I do think we have to ask ourselves the question, though, should Harcourt be working for any government agency, even if she wants to be? No, I don't think she should. The best place for all these people, and we see it, and we'll see it going forward, I have no doubt, the best place for all of them is together.
Yes, to do their own
Task Force X again, or whatever it was called. Or was Task Force X what the Suicide Squad was?
So it's the Suicide Squad was. They called themselves the 11th Street Kids. It's kind of what they call themselves.
That's what it is.
Yes, and so
they belong together. That's the street level thing. That's everybody doing their own thing. Yes, okay. Peacemaker's the one with powers, if you want to call them that, because he's obviously got
the helmets and things,
and various other things, eagerly, but they're a unit. They belong together.
Yes,
you are right in saying they're lost without each other.
Yeah,
they don't know what to do. They actively can't get by without each other.
And
so just
just
bring it all
come back together. Yes. But they're still trying to kind of like figure out their own things. So yeah, and she realized like this is the only work she's ever done. So she doesn't know or feel
Mm.
like she can do anything else. So she is just pissed.
Yeah.
And we see her act out in a really insane way. Like she picks a fight at a bar to get beat
Oh, it's a
up, to
mad
start
fight.
a
Yeah.
fight, which is an amazing fight sequence, her taking on all these dudes, but ultimately she gets thrown out and she's covered in blood and she kind of just like looks up to the sky and we kind of see a slight little smile on her face, knowing that like she kind of did that on purpose. So she's kind
Yeah.
of in a messed up way. Also, it's like, how is she gonna pay her bills? Like she has no job. So she's struggling. So we're seeing all of our characters kind of in this weird struggle. So the only one who's really kind of working somewhat in kind of the field that they were in is Economos. He's working for
Yeah.
Argus and he's been tasked to keep an eye on Peacemaker, on Chris. And so he's kind of struggling with that because Chris is his friend.
Yes. He
And
struggles with it, especially when he is told something strange has happened at Peacemaker's house.
yes,
We've got a blip. Please go and investigate. And he walks in on this enormous
this
orgy
crazy
going
orgy
on.
happening. Yes. So he's struggling with that, and it's Rick Flag Sr. kind of giving him those orders to do this. So
Yeah.
he knows that there's this like vendetta thing happening. So he's trying to kind of like do his job while also kind of trying to, you know, be a middleman to prevent anything bad from happening to Chris. So he tells Adebayo everything that's going on because they're able to monitor and see this kind of flux that happens every time Chris opens that portal. So they know
Yeah.
something's going on in his house, that he has some kind of tech that's doing something weird, that they're getting a weird signal from. And so Chris actually goes to see Harcourt the next day after the day she finds out that it can't get a job in the government anymore. And they're talking and he's just worried about her, wants to know she's okay. And then he mentions something that happened on a party boat. And we don't know what it is. They don't say what it is, but they allude to like, you know, I remember that day, do you? And she kind of blows it off like it wasn't a big deal. And he kind of makes it clear that it was a big deal to him. And he's really genuinely hurt by kind of her distance to him because he clearly cares about her. And we saw the end of that first season when she kind of almost died and he was there for her in the hospital and she takes his hand. So we know there's this care there, but she's just in such a messed up place that she is pushing him away. And
But she always has been that. She always has been. That is who she
that's
is.
who she
It will
is.
take more
But
than one season of world saving to solve that. I think.
Yes. But I think he felt like they were gaining some ground with the hospital stuff
Oh,
and being
yeah.
there for her and whatever happened on this boat. So when she kind of blows him off, he is so hurt by that because clearly like he has this deep love for her that he does end up, you know, pulling out his emergency drugs and calls this big
Yes.
orgy because he just is partying to kind of not think about it. So we see him doing a bunch of
How does he do
drugs.
this? Where does he find these people?
Right? Yeah. I don't know. And then we see him surrounded by all of these naked people having sex and this giant orgy just happening all around his house. And he's not really participating. He's just kind of doing his drugs.
He's not participating at all.
No. So it's just wild. And so we see him kind of sadly walking through his house. He's all kind of messed up. All while these people are just kind of like screwing all around him. So then he just kind of goes to his room and he's feeling really down. And so he decides, I went in that portal because when he went the first time for Eagly, he saw his dad and he's like, hey, kiddo, you wandering around, walking in your sleep again? And he freaks out and runs out of there. So like now that he's in this drug stupor, he's feeling down. He saw this like really sweet version of his dad. He kind of wants to go revisit that maybe.
Yeah.
So he goes and to open the portal. Economos gets the signal because he's in a van like outside, and he goes to the window to see. He's on the phone with Rick Flag saying, hey, the signal went off again. What's going on? And Economos covers for him and he says, oh, nothing. It's nothing kind of thing. So he covers
it's an
for
orgy.
Chris. Yes. He just says, oh, just he's like, there's this crazy orgy going on. Um, and so then ultimately he goes to Adebayo and he tells her everything he saw and everything that's going on with Chris and warns him because I love that Chris and Adebayo are like best friends. Like
Oh yeah.
she's the one who drove him to that Justice Gang interview. Um, so yeah, so I love that they still have each other's backs in these ways, despite kind of being all divided. We set up, Vigilante just being ridiculous. He calls Economos, but I love that they kind of still talk. So I like that we see kind of these
Yeah.
little relationships happening at a bio, just randomly hanging out with Chris, Vigilante randomly calling Economos to tell him about the owl facts. Well, this is going to be like a running thing, I'll tell you, the whole season, that
Oh
he'll
god.
call pretending to know all of these facts about something, and then he'll be totally wrong. So he does this multiple times throughout the season.
I
So,
fe- I feel like
so just be
I feel
prepared.
like a limited. I feel like limited quantities of vigilante are good. Too
Yeah.
much is just please leave. Please just get out of my face. You're
It's
being just over stupid now.
It's really funny that you say that. But it's like there's also just this beautiful moment in season 1 that they just gloss over, and I want more of that. Is the moment when, and like I think, it upsets me because, and I think it was kind of a lot of thing this season. A lot of people commented like, um, why is everyone so mean to him? Yes, he's kind of an idiot, but like I think back to
No,
the scene.
I don't know why everybody's so mean to him, but
Oh, he's a
he
lot.
doesn't help himself, and
He's a
he's a
lot.
lot.
Yes, but I just think back to that scene in season 1 when they're watching that butterfly family, that, like, government
Yeah,
person who's posing, who has a butterfly in him, and his whole butterfly family, and Chris is supposed to take them all out, and he can't do it because he doesn't wanna kill anybody else. It's, like, right after the Rick Flag stuff, and it's, like,
yeah.
kids, even though they're taken over by butterfly, he can't do it, and without a word, Adrian just steps up and
Mhm.
just does it for him. That's such a beautiful friendship moment, and I think they don't give Adrian enough credit for even the fact that he, like, went to jail to try to, get
Yeah.
information for him and all, and to, exonerate him and all of this stuff. So those things with Adrian, like, are so sweet and shows how much he cares about Chris. And so I need more of that, and I need more credit given to Adrian for
I mean,
being that type
I
of friend.
I would agree. I would like to see more of that and less of him just being
Being
stupid,
ridiculous, yeah.
because that is. I I suppose it's the least funny comedic stuff in the show to me personally.
Okay.
Is Vigilante just being stupid for the sake of it? I'm much more of a fan of the kind of the Barb stuff, the back and forth little
Okay.
jibes and things like that,
Mhm.
rather than just I'm going to be silly and throw myself against a wall, bash, and I don't. What's that
Okay,
about?
okay, okay.
I
Um,
don't need that.
but he does
I
actually
think
step
he's
up
great. I think Freddie Stromer's good. I think
doing,
he's
yeah,
very good at what he's doing.
yeah,
Sure. Nothing against him there, but
yes. He'll definitely get some better moments throughout the season, I think. But yeah, and
okay.
he does end up helping Chris in a huge way in the next episode.
Oh
Um
yeah, that's true.
but yeah, so that's kind of where we find everybody, just all kind of
It
in
is.
a mess.
It was a
Um,
reintroductory of a first episode, wasn't it? Really?
yeah, yes, and so yeah, uh, Chris ends up going into this other dimension and goes into this other version of his house, and he goes outside and he sees his brother, and he's just
Yeah.
it's too much for him. And so then he sat around with his dad and his brother, and they're joking and laughing, talking about these crazy imps that he stumbled into their one of their dimensions. So they talk about kind of
Yeah.
this dimensional room and how there's different rooms that you can kind of just go into. Um, and Chris is just sat there, just taking it all in and just in awe and like really confused and trying to figure it out and feeling good and kind of, yeah, just all of these emotions you just read on his face. I think a lot of talk this season was just about how much better John Cena's acting has gotten and how great he is now at emoting, and he knows his characters so well. I think he does a great job this season, particularly in later episodes. He does such a
Okay.
good job.
I mean, I
So
must
just
admit, I thought John Cena had significantly improved as an actor over the past number of years anyway,
anyway,
in the things
yeah,
that
no,
I've
but this
seen.
season, yes, I agree. But this season, he has a lot. They gave him a lot of great stuff to do and work with, and dig like a lot deeper than I think we've seen him. So just the fact that he sat here and this conversation's happening and we just have to kind of read it all in his face. I think he does a great job
Mm.
allowing us to do that. So
It's not
yeah,
something
and
that the WWE version of Cena could have done.
no, probably not. Well, I mean, that takes a lot of work and skill and acting as
Oh,
well.
I know, a
So,
ridiculous amount, but
it's a great
it's far
base.
less sort of personal, close up,
Emotional.
theatrical,
Yeah,
emotional stuff, isn't it? As opposed to
yes.
just being loud and
Yes,
well,
and
theatrical in that regard, I suppose.
yeah, yes. So everyone kind of goes to bed. He, tells Keith he loves him, and he's still just kind of like, okay. He goes to his room. He's looking and he sees a picture of him with Harcourt because his brother mentions, like, you really need to try to get that girl back. And he, like, she was
Yeah,
great. And I don't know what happened. I know she's with that jarhead now, but I think you need to try to get her back. And he's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I think you do. And then he goes to his room, the other Chris's room, and he sees a picture of him with
mm.
Harcourt. So he's like, my brother's alive. My father is sweet to me and loves me. And I'm with Harcourt in this universe. This is
What a perfect place!
yes. But then he hears a gun cock behind him, and it's the actual Chris from this universe.
Yeah,
Dressed in his little Peacemaker. He was out of town and he just came back. And he's like, what are you doing, you crazy shapeshifter? Get out of my room. Da, 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 da. And a whole fight ensues. So Chris just gets out of there, tries to run back to his dimension. This version of Peacemaker chases him all through the dimensions. He has Chris pinned to the ground. He's about to stab him. Chris just hits like the button on his chest that like starts his rocket boosters, and it shoots him up into the ceiling into this like thing that's sticking out and impales
yeah.
him in the back, and he dies. So he accidentally killed that version's Peacemaker. And
So
yeah.
now he has to be that version's Peacemaker as
Yeah.
well, I
So
guess.
that's kind of where we pretty much end things with this
Yeah.
episode, is him killing this other version of himself. So like, what the hell is he gonna do now?
Yeah, he's gonna have to. He's
So
gonna have to play the double life, isn't he? Is what you
yeah,
should.
but I mean, what it seems like a pretty good life to go back to. So
It does. It does. I don't quite know exactly what this other dimension in this season entails, but I did see vague things on the social medias when it
oh,
was coming out. I know there is a significant sort of, should we say, world reveal about
okay.
this particular dimension, where it's somewhere, it's an evil sort of world essentially, but I don't know quite
The
why or how.
specifics. Okay, okay,
um I just know it's kind of, oh, it's something that seems nice but then really quite isn't,
okay.
in one way or another. I'm not quite sure of the exact
Do you think you would
specifics.
have gotten that without knowing that? Like,
I
just get
mean,
this like too
you
good
can
to be true kind of feeling?
it would be a bit too good to be true, wouldn't it? I would not expect it to just be wholly nice.
Yeah.
And really, I would suggest any world in which his dad can thrive can't be a great world.
Yeah.
Provided his dad's the same person. I don't even know if his dad has the same, should we say, beliefs that his dad had in in the real world, as it were. I don't know how these things work. Multiverses, interdimension. It
Yes.
confuses me.
But had you not known that there was like something about this world that's off, you probably would have felt like this seems a little too good to be true.
I would have. I think I would have felt it anyway. I
Yeah.
do think I would have felt it anyway.
Okay. Okay.
So
So you
I don't think it takes anything away.
okay, okay. But yeah, and so you like getting to see kind of where the characters are at now, how they kind of laid that
Oh
all
yeah,
out, all leading to this kind
yeah,
of crazy thing. Yeah.
definitely,
Okay. All
definitely.
right.
Um, episode 2 though
Yes.
is, I have the title here: "A man is only as good as his bird."
Yes. So we're meeting some new characters in this episode. Uh,
Yeah,
After killing his interdimensional counterpart, Chris calls in Adrian to cut up the body. Meanwhile, Economos meets his new partner, Flurry, who suffers from bird blindness. Eagly repels
which
a home in
is just finish the synopsis. I do
yeah,
apologise for interrupting.
no, that's okay. Eagly repels a home invasion, and the 11th Street kids hold a welcome home party for Economos.
Now that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the welcome home party. They're all coming together. This
Yes.
is fun. This is exciting. This is what we want from Peacemaker. I
Yeah.
like all of this. And yes, okay, this party even comes with its emotional sort of hardship. Chris and Harcourt try and talk
Yeah.
things over. It doesn't particularly go well. But the group together is just correct for me.
Yeah. Yes.
Another
Yeah.
massive highlight of this episode, Eagly gets a whole big fight sequence, and I think
Right.
it's
It's so
absolutely
good.
wonderfully done. Um,
Yes.
but the bird blindness thing is another just. For some reason it didn't hit with me. It didn't
No,
hit, like the humor of it. I'm just, what does that even mean? I don't know if it's the way I'm feeling
I don't know. I
these
think his
past
delivery
couple of
just kinda
days.
sold it for me. I don't know. I don't know. His delivery of it just made it funny to me,
I
like,
do like the actor. I do like the actor. I do not know his name, and I do like him in other things I've seen him in.
Saturday Night Live, the ladies' man, what's his name? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking?
So it's not
Um,
his fault. What sort of nonsense is that? It's like a sketch comedy thing, but we're not in a sketch comedy. So I think there's different sort of.
but I
Not
mean,
everything's going to hit. I'd like to.
his whole dynamic with Economos though, that whole kind of back and forth giving him stupid nicknames and like
The
that kind of stuff. Did
nicknames I
any of
can deal. The
yeah,
nicknames I can vibe
Tim
with. The
Meadows. Yeah.
Tim Meadows. The
Yes.
nicknames I can vibe with. The back and forth I can vibe
Ginger
with.
Cool.
It, it's just, yeah.
Like
I
he'll be
like,
there with bells on. He'll be there with bells on. Oh, I just added the bells part. Like what?
yeah.
Why
It's
would
all
you
that
do
great.
that? Yeah. Okay.
Like that. All great stuff. But not everything's gonna hit, and I don't think everything has to
Okay.
hit.
Okay.
In a show that is doing far more
A
than
lot. Yeah.
just its comedic barbs,
Yeah.
I don't think everything has to hit for me to still have full enjoyment of the show,
Okay.
because the dramatic stuff always hits.
Yeah.
So I can forgive some sort of maybe slightly out of place feeling comedy, in my opinion,
Okay. That's fair.
for
That's fair.
everything else to work well.
Yes.
It doesn't take anything away. I
Yeah.
just, if this is going to become a running thing with Tim Meadows, I yeah, I don't know.
I think
I
it's
mean, what sort
mostly
of
just
nonsense?
yeah, I think it's mostly in just relation to Eagly because yeah, Eagly's a bird
Well,
and
yeah, I mean,
he's calling it
they
a duck and
completely
a whole yeah.
fail to tame Eagly, shall we say. Eagly
Oh,
just goes to
yes.
town on this group of people who
Oh,
come
yeah.
to raid Peacemaker's home.
Yes, so I think, you know, there's a layer of, Rick Flag Senior that doesn't trust Economos knowing that he's friends with Peacemaker,
No,
so he does send in
which
Flurry
is a
to kind
fair thing. I think a
Yes.
fair thing for Rick Flag Senior
Yes,
to think.
exactly, so he does send Flurry in there to kind of keep an eye on things and watch him. And then when he does know that Economos is going to go to this party with them tonight and the house is going to be empty, he gets a team together to go in there and check out this portal or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
But they all get attacked by Eagly. Um, like brutally attacked. So
Very
that
brutally. I didn't know Eagly. I mean, I knew Eagly was somewhat violent, but
yeah.
he's ripping out people's eyes and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, like it's just I think they what happens is like when we see them all together, like our 11th Street kids, it works so well. And you want them to be a
Yeah.
team, but then it's like a real world aspect thrown in there that they all do have to kind of make a living. So they could just go around being this vigilante team, but how would they like pay their bills? So I like that
Yeah.
that's kind of maybe the thing that kind of keeps them from actually kind of going for it.
You know, they've not got a wealthy backer, have they?
No, definitely not. Like we
You know,
saw how kind of cruddy they're living and why Economos is even doing this job that kind of forcing him to have to surveil his friend is because he just needs a job.
I
Um,
think this is the easy thing that
yeah,
teams such as the Avengers and the more traditional Justice League don't have to worry about because they
yeah.
have wealthy backers involved with
Oh,
them.
exactly. Yes, yes. I'm sure like
So,
and obviously one of their members is Tony Stark. So,
well,
they get
yes, in the original form,
all the
and if we're going into new Avengers,
yeah.
Reed Richards, it will obviously be fairly wealthy.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, the 11th
so
Street kids don't have Maxwell
no
Lord. They
money.
don't have
Or, of
yeah,
course, in
they
DC
don't have
terms, Bruce Wayne. Bruce
yeah.
Wayne's fairly wealthy, isn't he? So
Yeah, and
he
the
can just
Justice League
back
there.
every bit of
Yeah, and
finance.
yes, and get them any new gadgets or whatever they need and that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, they don't have that. So they can't
No.
do what they could really excel at is working together as this kind of a vigilante team. But so this is how they come together. And it's like I like that that conversation is had as well. They're like, "Oh yeah, Economos, he's like, "Oh, do you guys always hang out together?" And she's like, "Oh, not together, but sometimes me and Harcourt will hang out or,
Yeah.
me and Vigilante will hang out in this kind of like pairings kind of thing." Um so yeah, it was nice to see them all together and them to really still hold on to this whole concept that they created the 11th Street Kids and have that energy and have fun together and all of that kind of thing. But it turns into another kind of heartbreaking moment for Chris because he tries to talk
Yeah.
to Harcourt again and she pushes him away again. But before that, yes, we do see him call Adrian over to help him with this situation of the body
Yes.
because we see him try
Which
to like hide it and like in a very
this was
comedic
funny. This was funny. The constant failing of just trying to put this dead body into this or underneath this sort of
yeah,
shelving unit.
yeah, and it just rolling out and it's
And it
not yeah, he can't
keeps
hide it.
just flopping out and rolling out and
Yeah, so
keeps
he's
so he's
like
just getting more and more angry.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yes. So I was like, I need Adrian. So Adrian comes over, and I love that. Oh, well, before that, he has a conversation with Adebayo, I think, on the porch because he can't let her in the house because all the orgy people are still just passed out around. So she tells him that's when she tells him about
That's right. How long are the orgy people going to be there? Are they I mean, I know he tells them in this episode, he tells one of them who decides to just
the
show
lead
herself in front of
orgy
everybody,
captain.
the
Yeah.
lead woman of the orgy, um,
Can you
please
just
get
round these
everybody
people?
out.
Yeah.
But well, we don't see them leave. They might be there next episode. I don't know.
Just to
They
lay
could
there.
just be
Oh my
there
god.
the entire time.
No, well, they can't be because the whole attack, the Eagly attack happens that night. So we know
Oh,
they're not
that's true, actually.
there.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
not there. That's a
Um,
good point.
so yeah, Edo tells Chris all about, her source that told her, they know about your thing. Argus is watching you. Rick Flag Sr.'s leading it. He hates you because you killed his son. So be careful. Whatever portal you have, just tell them, turn it over to them. Tell them it's your dad's stuff and you know nothing about it because you could go back to jail.
Yeah.
And now that he has this kind of thing with this interdimensional like thing in this other life, like he doesn't want to give that up.
I do
Um,
like the scene with Rick Flag finding out about the details of his son's death. Obviously, we know
oh yeah.
what
Mhm.
happened. We know
Yeah.
Peacemaker fairly brutally killed Rick Flag
Yeah,
at the end of the Suicide Squad
yeah.
because of information leaking reasons.
Yes,
Yes,
and Waller kind of gave him his own separate mission to stop
Yeah.
them from doing what they needed to do and sabotage kind of the mission. Rick
Yeah.
Flag tries to stop him, and he ultimately kills him, and it was kind of like not a purposeful thing, but
No.
that's why he feels so much guilt over it.
But I like the intensity from Frank Grillo in that particular
Yeah,
scene of just he's convinced he will be able to deal with whatever these details are. He's
yeah,
obviously well aware his son died on what was it,
yeah,
Corto Maltese,
yeah,
the island. Well aware that happened, so he's not grieving necessarily anymore.
no,
But this hits him back into a bit of grief.
yeah,
To know how involved Peacemaker was, because
yeah,
obviously he would have been aware that you assume he would have been aware that Peacemaker was there,
yeah,
like with with Harley Quinn, with everybody
mhm,
else that was
yeah,
there and ended up
mhm,
dying.
yeah,
Idris Elba and the rest of them.
mhm,
But how exactly what the details were,
yeah.
once he finds
How
all that
was he
out, it's just
involved?
that kind
Yeah,
of seething tension, smacks the table,
yeah,
just get him, storms out of the room, find him, get him now kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
attitude.
There's not very much professionalism there. It's very
No.
personal. Um, so yeah, and that's what kind of drives this mission to go see what this thing is. Um, but yeah, Adebayo ends up warning Chris and tells him, she doesn't say it's Economos that knows. She just says, yes, they know
No.
about Argus is watching you. Rick Flag Sr. is pissed and, he's after you for this vendetta. Just give it to them. Tell them it's your father's stuff. But yeah, he doesn't want to give that up. But
I
he
do
knows.
wonder what will happen when Chris discovers that Economos has been the one in the know. I do wonder how difficult
That
that
will,
confrontation will be.
yes. But I mean, he's doing what he can to like protect him. So he's
I
not,
mean, he is, yeah. He's not actively doing anything. It's literally just his job, and he isn't alerting them to
yeah,
anything that's
that
going
he's
on.
doing he's kind of keeping them in the dark as best he can. Um, but yeah,
But
then
will he understand that when it's explained to him
when it
like
comes
that?
out. Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah. But then Adrian comes over, and to Adrian, I love that his kind of first thought seeing this orgy is like, how come you didn't invite me? Like, and he's like, dude, you don't even seem like you like sex. And he's like, I don't really, but when you're doing it with your friends, like that's what matters. Like he literally only has sex to be able to hang out with his friend. So in those last
Which
episodes
is an
in the first
interesting
season,
way of thinking about it, isn't it? Really,
yes.
it's
So when we see him in bed with that lady that they were like interrogating or whatever, when they like, kidnap that lady and her boyfriend, and then they end up in bed with her, and like all three of them are in bed. Yeah, he was only doing it because he just wanted to hang out with his friends. Yeah.
I
And so
mean,
yeah,
he's one on his own, isn't he? Really.
exactly. And it's like the whole thing, like, why do you act like you're not mad when you're mad? He's like, I'm not mad. like Adrian is great. And also like when the orgy lady comes out of the bathroom, he's like, did you see how much time it was between the flushing and her coming out? She didn't wash her hands.
Like, I don't want gonorrhea hands all over the place.
Yeah, but it's like, I think you got to worry about worse than that with all those naked bodies all over your house and what they were doing in your house.
I mean, yeah.
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 So anyway,
I wouldn't be getting a black light in the living room.
oh no,
Let's just say that one.
No. So I like this whole kind of walk through of this scene before we get to the dimension, and
Yeah.
Chris is like, oh, Adebayo says I shouldn't use it. They know when I use it, but like I gotta get in there and show you. So they go in there, and yeah, he shows them the body and explains the whole situation. And Adrian's just like, cool, let's chop it up. Like, I love that he's just like up for whatever. He doesn't care. So Adrian was like the right one to call, kind of thing.
I do like how he's always up for absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Though, and as outrageously extreme as it might be,
Yeah.
you know, get your bone saw and come over, we're chopping up a
We gotta
body.
chop up
Yeah,
this
fine.
body.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly, and then they have this incinerator because we see that first night when he let Eagly out, in the first episode, this alien just kinda comes out of his little dimension and has this,
Right.
like, weird alien rat and just puts it in this, like, incinerator, and Chris says hey to him, and he just ignores him, and he's like like, "Asshole." So then when he's in there with Adrian, he's like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Oh, just some stupid alien thing that I say hi to him and he never says hi back." Like he's all mad about it. But I think that's where they end up like just putting the body, like incinerating it in that
Yeah.
thing once they like chop it up. So that was the setup of that whole kind of thing to get rid of the body. So yeah, love that Adrian's kind of up for anything in that aspect. Um, but yeah, then we lead to the party. They all show up there
Yeah.
while the Argus people are trying to get into the house. And yeah, Eagly just beats the shit out of them.
Oh, it's a
Um,
great sequence. It really
oh,
is such
yeah.
a great sequence. I think Eagly, to be honest, Eagly looks a bit better this season as well.
Yeah.
Clearly, they've got a little bit of
Oh, more.
increased budget going on.
Yeah. And I had the time to kind of really develop it. And then even at the end of all that, Eagly kind of gets this cool guy strut at the end of like,
He does.
yeah,
He
attacking all the
does.
which was funny. And yeah, then the party with everyone is just so fun. Like they're dancing, having a good time. And
Mm,
then Harcourt and Chris, he tries to have a conversation with her, asking her
yeah.
about, the black eye and like what's wrong. And she doesn't want to talk about it. And she's like, I'm not broken like you are. Like, just we're not the same. Like, stop trying to like match our trauma and like,
Yeah.
um, think you can relate to me, like just stop. And she's like just very cruel to him again, pushes him away. Um
Totally
yeah,
unnecessary.
yeah. And it's like they have like a really good moment and really good rapport until it gets a little too close and then she can't handle it and pushes him away. And
Yeah.
so then that pushes him to this like really dark place again where he just, gets a little too drunk. He goes home. Um,
Yeah.
and he trips on like the chaos, but he's too drunk and kind of in his feelings to notice that his house is all ransacked. He just thinks it was eagerly messing around.
Yeah.
And he is thinking about, that version of Chris. He was with Harcourt. He
Yeah.
goes
Let's go back.
and he has that Chris's phone.
Oh
So he
yeah, because he tries to
he
text
looks
her
up
in this dimension and it doesn't
yes, and doesn't
connect.
go through. So he's looks up her number. She's in there. They have a text thread. He says, "Hey, no, it doesn't work." And he's like, "Oh, well, maybe it'll work in his dimension." So he drunkenly
Yeah.
goes back there again and he sits down and the text goes through.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Hey, back." And she puts a broken heart.
Mm,
And then he ends up we just kind of zoom out of him sat there like texting
yeah.
her in this
I
other
think in the
dimension.
background of that as well, we're hearing Robert Patrick, obviously, as his
Yeah,
dad in that dimension, like call people about where Chris is. Like, is he missing? He seems to have been missing for some time because obviously his version of Chris is dead. He's
yeah,
been killed
yeah. I
by
mean,
this
they
Chris.
talk a little bit about like you hear kind of these background conversations with him and Keith about like him being away or him kind of being
Yeah.
on a bit of a stupor maybe and things like that. So just hold on to those little kind of like
Okay.
where's Chris kind of conversations. Is he doing this again? Is he doing that again? Kind of
Okay.
hold on to that.
Okay.
Because it ends up being something that they don't quite like straight up say, but like it's kind of stuff about this version of Chris, the version of Chris that was in this
Okay.
universe. So yeah, so that's I think kind of the main points of everything that happened.
Pretty much.
So
Pretty
yeah.
much. We're not dealing with massive levels of melodrama here that we have to dissect every bit of emotional
No, but
content
like
of. This is not Dawson's Creek.
no.
This is Peacemaker.
Yeah, so there's some big impactful moments to discuss in terms of where these characters are now after season one, where the story is going, some
Yeah.
interesting kind of character dynamics.
I mean,
With
it throws you
Harcourt.
right back in, and look, it
Yeah,
needs to throw you right back in because it's
yeah,
only got 8 episodes to tell
yeah,
a full story.
yeah. Yeah. And I will say people maybe did complain that they could have gone deeper with things and maybe made it 10 episodes or something. And so they kind of wish they did, that they did set up some really
Possibly.
interesting things and they felt a little underdeveloped, which I will say
Okay.
I do agree with. Like they set up some really interesting, thoughtful things, and then, we don't kind of delve deeper.
Okay.
So, but
Well,
I will
is
say
would that be
by the end of it,
would
I
that
thoroughly enjoyed the
lead
season. But
would that lead potentially to developing those potentially underdeveloped things in a season 3 or in a future Peacemaker,
he has talked about
future movie perhaps, where Peacemaker would appear alongside other people in whatever DC looks like in the near future?
I mean, I think they pretty much tie it up, and he has talked about there's no plans for a season 3.
Okay.
Um, because I think how this season ends up just being something that they can kind of build upon in the DCU
Yeah.
itself.
Build
But
build it out, make it,
yes, but
bring the
the
characters into
things
other things and that
yes,
sort of stuff.
but the things that I think are left unfinished feel like they're gonna maybe stay unfinished. It's more like
Oh, okay.
interesting ideas to explore as opposed to interesting ideas that will build out the universe. So they had those
Okay.
2 kind of choices. We set up some really interesting things, that we could explore, or we set up some interesting things that will lead to what this DCU is going to be that we can explore in films. And they take the
I
second
see.
path. They take the second path. So they set up
It's
these
probably
interesting things
wiser.
that are kind of contained to the show and use that time to kind of like set up things that are going to be, which it makes sense, of course. But
It
it's
does.
like, had you made 10 episodes, you could have had some fun really developing these really thoughtful, interesting things that we got excited
Okay.
about. So you'll see.
Well,
We'll see what we get.
I will see. I'm looking forward to getting to it. Looking
Yeah.
forward to next time on Palling with Peacemaker. We do enjoy. We are
Yeah.
like Vigilante in that way. We enjoy palling with Peacemaker,
Yeah.
although I'm not particularly interested in being involved in some sort of sexual procedure. Why have I used the word procedure with Peacemaker? Just on the basis of being friends and hanging out.
Yeah. I just want to hang out with. That's what you do with your friends. Like
It's
that's
not
what
what
you
you do
like
with
to
your
do.
friends.
So
I mean, it might be what some people do with their friends. Fine, whatever. You do whatever you want with
that's
your
like
friends.
if you're not
As long
interested
as
in it
everybody's
at
into it.
all. Yeah.
Listen, as long as everybody's into it, we're all okay.
Yes, but he's not into it. He's literally just doing it to hang out with him. It's so weird.
Okay, as long as everybody wants to be there and involved, we're okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But I hope you enjoyed these first 2 episodes of season 2.
Of course.
Enjoyed getting back into it. Yeah, more exciting things to come.
Definitely. Of course, as we said before, this is Palling with Peacemaker, the start of season 2, but it is not the only show we have on the It's a Wonderful podcast feed, or indeed the It's a Wonderful podcast YouTube channel. This alternates every Monday, of course, with discovering Dawson's Creek for the next couple of months before a return back to diving into Doctor Who, as we have just finished that, of course, with our 9th Doctor era. Do go back and watch and listen to that, of course, if you're into Doctor Who, and do not fear, Doctor Who will return in February. Morgan Hasn't Seen is, of course, here as well on the podcast feed. Not Quite Christmas is our December series. They're full of a bunch of Christmas adjacent movies, and 70s Christmas Horror is the name of the game on the main show. It's a Wonderful podcast, as well as we celebrate old movies every single week over there. If you would like to support us on Patreon or donate to this show in any way, you can find links to do that in the description of this episode. As we said before, subscribe, ding your notification bell on the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel for all the great stuff we do have here. And subscribe wherever you may be listening today on all major podcast platforms. Leave your comments on Spotify, rate and review everywhere, share around, all that good stuff. And I suppose not all, do everything and this. Find us on and across all the social medias. Things have been scrolling down at the bottom of the screen if you are watching today, but if you are not, you can find us on the app formerly known as Twitter and on Blue Sky at It's a Wonderful One. Find me on the app formerly known as Twitter at the Purple Dawn with the 3 instead of the E in there, because, Jeannine,
3 is a magic number.
On Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at the Purple Dawn. All your, I'm not going to say that, Peacemaker enjoying is what I'm going to say.
All my sexual procedures.
No, it was going to be something along the lines of that, but we can't say that. We can't be advertising that.
You can find me at Jeannine _ on Twitter, Jeannine on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And if you want to get any merch for any of our shows, just check the description for the link or search G9 Design on tpublic.com.
No, none of that here. Anyway, there is only one thing left to do, of course. There is, Jeannine. And impressions, not really.
No impressions, no, none at all, no.
No impression. Is there any impressions? No. A vigilante impression? You seem to like vigilante. Do you want to do an impression of vigilante? Just excitable and annoying.
I know. 3, 2, 1.
Bye.